Okay, new business. CLAC annual report will be tabled until such time as it is available. Sam's update.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Well, we don't have a whole lot of new stuff to tell you guys about, but we just wanted to check in with you and let you know that after taking a couple weeks off from the end of the school year, we are starting to kind of get ourselves geared back up to getting back in touch with teachers and starting to get the curriculum development that needs to happen over this summer fired up again. So the teachers are continuing to jump back in there and get going on that stuff. We are also continuing to establish and build up relationships with the universities and also other local experts that we keep, finding out about and coming into contact with, so that we can figure out ways to develop curriculum around those kinds of things. Farhan can maybe fill you in with some of those sorts of details. But there's some, we're amazed at some of the people that keep kind of showing up, even right here in our own community, never mind the whole state. So that's pretty exciting. We have encountered a few obstacles and issues as far as just, when we develop the curriculum, kind of getting it plugged into the school system. And I think that there are probably issues that you would encounter with, it's like it's fitting puzzle pieces together. So we don't imagine that these are any kinds of things that are going to send us off our track, but just things that we're trying to work out. And probably our best news for the night is just that we did officially get our extension. So we did get the one-year extension. So NASA now has the project going through November 15th of 2011.
Great. Is there any connection, are you guys familiar with the SMILE program of Rhode Island, science, math, something, I don't know what else. My company just partnered with them, and we did a whole day where we brought a bunch of business leaders in to do science and math projects with grade school and high school kids. So there is a volunteer organization that does that. I don't know if that would be a nice springboard once the grant ends to start saying, okay, maybe it's not the plush, Sam's program, but at least we can, have volunteers in and doing these projects with you all. So it's SMILE.
I don't answer that. Thank you. Thanks. And just a clarification, the extension is an extension of time that we can use the money we've got, not
extra money. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah, well, we knew it was going to be that way in the beginning,
right.
and I don't know, it may have even been that the extension was a formality, that we just had to go through a certain process to get to it, but anyway, it's official now, so
good.
Yeah.
It would have been a disaster if we didn't get the extension.
Yeah,
We would have give the money back.
Yeah, we would have had to give the money back.
Or spend it very quickly.
Or spend it fast, and we're trying to do this the wise way, and it takes time to roll through and really try things out. So
And especially since we started in November. We started during a school year. We didn't have the benefit of the summer before.
Right.
So that would have been hard for us to have a full year.
So on a practical level, from a student's perspective, this year relative to last year, what might be some different things students might be encountering this year, if anything, that major difference?
I think they'll have a full year of it. That's one thing. They will start in September with components of the SAMS project, whereas last year they really didn't start until after February vacation, because a lot of the teachers spent February vacation developing new curriculum. So they will start in September with new curriculum. There will be many more curriculum units that have tie-ins with field trips, speakers, things like that. And there'll just be more. So, for example, the weather station, we put the weather station in, right? There was not a weather unit developed. There will be a whole unit on weather. So they, more than just looking at the data, they will have a whole unit on weather. Except 7th and 8th grade will have that. So it's not just, it's up there, you can look at some data, they will have actually a whole unit on it. So that's the benefit of having this whole year. This coming year.
And as we move on and the project and the program is more fully developed and fleshed out, things get kind of more woven into the entire curriculum. So, you do have some standalone units that are identifiable as SAM's curricula, but there are other things that are kind of working their way into other parts of the school system. I mean, even, just is it 2nd grade that's starting to use the weather systems? things that we hadn't really anticipated, but they're great benefits of.
Offshoots that we didn't expect. That is what happens as things evolve.
And it becomes district-wide, so even though this grant was intended for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we're actually able to do it, K through 8. So the weather station is a great example of that, is that almost every grade has utilized it in some fashion. And the web-based portion of it is open to anyone in the district.
I think another thing too would also be just as far as that there's a certain kind of a continuity that not now, and I don't know how many years down the road it will take, but things such as the science notebook is a system that we're integrating into this curriculum that we hope will be something that the kids, from kindergarten, 1st grade, all the way up through 8th grade, it will be a way of doing it. And maybe, I don't know if I'm speaking to
No, but you are correct, and it is going to happen in Melrose very extensively.
Yeah,
Science notebooking through Phil Capaldi and Charlene back from Jim's Network is extending with this project. It's
right. So it's just another way that everything is kind of more seamless.
What is that?
They're going to so that better.
The Science Notebook is a way of writing about science and keeping data and really kids having that chance to do what scientists do. So it's more of it's first of all more writing, which is what we always want the kids doing, not just having the hands-on experience, but really reflecting on that experience and what they learned from it. But also learning how to really label, to to do that drawing and label it better like a scientist, and to take those observations, so it's honing their observation skills too. And there's been a component with that. JeffsNet has worked hard with that, but it was never something we had gotten into our system, and I feel like we're at the road to really putting it through in each grade, which will bring the kids coming in middle school at such a better steed, I think, to write about science. That's what we're going to be doing more consistently. We had pockets of it before. I think now we have a plan to really implement it district-wide.
And there's a woman, I forget the name, her name, but she actually, the reason why it's called Science Notebooking, because that's the name of her book on how to implement this in schools. And it's every single time you have to make a prediction, but instead of saying like it is blue, you expand on that, so it's tapping into those higher thinking order skills as well. So it is a kind of a systematic approach, and it would be neat because if we start this in kindergarten and they can build on it in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and all the way up. And
I'm happy about that, the consistency of it, because that was the part we didn't have. There were grade levels that were doing it, and then grade levels that were not. And to really have something, we know that, and we need to do it consistently so that all kids are getting it.
And wasn't there some disappointment in the ECAP science test about this very point?
Yes, I think
about the
definitely
narrative
that we
aspect
feel
of-
like this will be helpful to the students also in terms of the science assessment.
I think another part of what's really good about it is that it's you talk about scientific thinking or something. It allows the students to, you're writing down what your thoughts are. Not everything that you write down is going to end up being proven to be correct, or but you go back and you see, it's all trial and error, and it's, for every 10 guesses you make that are wrong, finally you might find, it's the scientific process. And
Right.
It's an important part of,
Well, it's a life skill. I mean,
right.
Yes,
Yeah,
everything
not being
is
afraid to guess.
And
something
asking
or
the
to-
questions, I think if there's anything you learn from scientists, it's not the answers. They're so good at asking that next question and
Right.
finding that next, and really getting kids to generate that inquiry model is really our long range.
It's also the scientific writing. They talk a lot about, you're not just writing a pure narrative, you're talking about cause and effect. You're talking about having to justify your reason for why you prove something true. But this is, they're really teaching them how to write like scientists. So you're writing clearly and concisely. And that's what, scientists do when they put a report out on, some experiment that they did. So that's being taught throughout.
Great, good job. If you get stuck on the smile stuff, let me know.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'd be really interested to, perhaps after the first grading period, doesn't have to be then, I'm just using that as an arbitrary point, to have another update, maybe from the teacher aspect, from coordinator's aspect, principal, whatever, but just to see, maybe in November,